Yes, every single time you flip a switch, something extraordinary happens that most people never think about. Now, electricity goes in, a load pushes up. But then, here is the question that will change how you see every machine you have ever used. So a student is using an electric motor to lift a load. The simple setup is a motor, a pulley, a string, and a load. But this simple setup contains the heart of one of physics' most powerful ideas, which is energy transfer. So electrical energy flows into the motor, and inside the motor, the electrical energy is transferred. It is converted into other forms. And this is where our first examination question lives. So every motor takes in electrical energy. Some becomes useful, while the rest is wasted. Then this examination question asks you which is which and what happens to what is being wasted, the energy being wasted. What happens to it? So question A, Roman figure 1 says, name the useful energy output from the electric motor. Now, most students want to say electrical energy, but wait, the motor's job is to lift a load. So what energy does a moving, lifting object has? Now the motor makes things move, and a moving load has a kinetic energy, which is the energy of motion. And as it rises, it also gains a gravitational potential energy, which is the energy stored due to its height. So both are acceptable answers in your GCSE examination. So think of it this way. A spinning car wheel has a kinetic energy. And then a crane lifting steel beams into the sky has a gravitational potential energy in it. So it is the same physics and the same principle. So whether it is a school experiment or a skyscraper construction site, it is still the same physics and the same principle being applied. So now here is the part that stumps almost every student. What actually happens to the wasted energy? And the answer will genuinely surprise you. Now most students will write the energy is lost, and that gets them 0 marks. Now here is the real answer and the real physics behind it. The motor gets hot, and that heat isn't a magic, no. That is the wasted energy because the electrical energy that didn't become useful movement is being converted into heat energy, and it radiates outward, keeping the motor warm, warming the environment, and warming the surroundings as well. The wasted energy dissipates. In other words, it spreads out into the surroundings. It warms up the air, it warms the motor casing as well, and it becomes so spread out, so disordered that it can never be collected and used again. And this is why no machine is ever 100% efficient. So think about a car being stuck in a traffic. The engine keeps running, but not moving. And all the fuel energy being converted to heat, being wasted into the atmosphere. This is the same physics. Wasted energy always ends up eating the surroundings, always. And this brings us into one of physics' most powerful laws, which is the laws of conservation of energy. Energy cannot be created. Energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be transferred from one form to another. The wasted energy isn't gone, no. It's just spread out uselessly into the surroundings.